Hello, everyone. Grab your favorite drink and settle in, because we've got another emotional roller coaster for you today on AGS Stories. Betrayal, heartbreak, and resilience are at the heart of this tale. It's never easy when the people we trust the most, our family, our partner, become the source of our deepest pain. Today on AGS Stories, we dive into the story of Sarah, a woman who thought she had finally found stability in her life, only to discover her marriage and family were built on manipulation and lies. Imagine being told you're lucky to have what you have, only to realize it was never truly yours to begin with. Sarah's journey of breaking free from toxic relationships, discovering hidden truths, and fighting to rebuild her life will leave you inspired to reflect on the strength it takes to reclaim your worth. Stay with us as we unpack this incredible story of courage and self-discovery. Let's dive in. Today's story is one of heartbreak, betrayal, and the courage it takes to rebuild your life from scratch. Imagine waking up every day feeling like the odds are stacked against you, like the people who were supposed to love and protect you are the ones tearing you down. That's the reality for Sarah Carter, a 29-year-old woman living in a quiet suburban town in the United States. Her journey is a testament to resilience and the human spirit's ability to overcome even the darkest of times. Sarah grew up in what looked like a picture-perfect family, or so it seemed to outsiders. Adopted at a young age, she always felt like she didn't quite belong, like an outsider in her own home. Her adoptive parents, while outwardly kind, viewed her less as a daughter and more as a means to an end. They took advantage of the financial benefits that came with adopting her, and as she got older, began using her as a tool to support their own needs. At 25, Sarah thought her life had finally turned a corner. She married Ryan Matthews, a charming and successful businessman who promised her the world. For a brief moment, she believed she had found her escape, a life of love and stability. But the fairy tale quickly unraveled. Ryan wasn't the man she thought he was. Behind closed doors, he was controlling, cold, and manipulative. Worse yet, Sarah discovered he was having an affair with one of her closest friends. As if that wasn't enough, Sarah's adoptive parents sided with Ryan, pressuring her to stay in the marriage. They insisted that she fix things with him, reminding her she was lucky to have married someone wealthy. Sarah felt trapped, betrayed by everyone she trusted. Alone and drowning in despair, she began questioning whether she deserved better. This is the story of how Sarah found the strength to break free from her toxic marriage, her manipulative family, and the lies she'd been told her entire life. It's a journey of redemption, self-discovery, and reclaiming her voice. Stay with us as we dive into the twists and turns of Sarah's incredible story. Hi everyone, my name is Sarah Carter, and I'm 29 years old. I never thought I'd find myself in a place where I'd feel so lost, but here I am, reaching out for help because I don't know where else to turn. My life feels like it's crumbling around me, and I need advice. I was adopted when I was just 4 years old. My adoptive parents seemed kind at first, and to the outside world, they looked like the perfect couple, giving a child a loving home. But as I grew older, I started to see cracks in that facade. They weren't parents in the way most people think of parents. They saw me as an obligation, or worse, a tool to benefit themselves. They took advantage of the financial support that came with adopting me and reminded me constantly that I owed them for the life they gave me. When I turned 25, they introduced me to Ryan Matthews, a businessman in his early 30s who had connections, money, and charm. I didn't love him, but they made it clear that this marriage was a golden opportunity. They said he would secure my future and told me it was the least I could do to repay them. I was young, naive, and desperate for their approval, so I said yes. The first few months of marriage felt normal, almost happy. Ryan had a way of making me feel like I mattered, but slowly his true colors started to show. He would criticize me constantly, my clothes, my weight, even the way I spoke. He'd say things like, "You're lucky I married you," or "No one else would put up with you." I didn't realize it at the time, but these comments started chipping away at my self-esteem. And then came the betrayal that broke me. About a year into our marriage, I started noticing little things. He'd take calls in another room. He'd come home late from work without any explanation. One night, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. I checked his phone while he was in the shower, a move I'm not proud of, and found a string of messages between him and my best friend, Lindsay. They weren't just friends. They were having an affair. I confronted him that same night, shaking and holding back tears. But instead of apologizing, Ryan turned it around on me. He told me I wasn't enough for him, that I wasn't attractive, interesting, or smart enough to keep him happy. "What did you expect?" he said. "I settled for you." Those words burned into my mind, and I couldn't stop replaying them. I thought about leaving right then, but my adoptive parents wouldn't hear of it. When I told them what Ryan had done, they brushed it off, saying, "Men will be men." They told me to fix things with him and reminded me that I had no financial independence. "Do you really want to start over? Ryan is wealthy and well-connected. He's your best option, Sarah," they said. I stayed for another 2 years, enduring his affairs, his cruelty, and the constant pressure from my family to be the perfect wife. My days felt like a never-ending cycle of walking on eggshells, trying not to upset Ryan, and hiding my pain from the world. The only moments of peace I had were when I could sneak away to my sketchpad. I've always loved drawing. It was my escape, but even that felt like a luxury I couldn't afford. A few weeks ago, I hit my breaking point. Ryan threw a dinner party for his colleagues, and he asked me to stay upstairs, out of sight. He didn't want me embarrassing him in front of his peers. That night, I sat alone in our bedroom, listening to the laughter and conversation downstairs, and I realized I couldn't do it anymore. I told Ryan I wanted a divorce. He laughed in my face. "You don't have the guts to leave me," he said. "Where would you even go? Back to your pathetic parents? You have nothing without me." He's right about one thing. I don't have much. I don't have a steady job or significant savings. My parents wouldn't support me. They've made it clear that their loyalty lies with Ryan and the financial stability he brings to the family. They've even suggested that I apologize to him and try harder to make him happy. But I can't do it. I can't keep living this way. I've started researching divorce lawyers, but the process feels overwhelming. How do I even begin? How do I stand up to someone like Ryan, who has the money and power to make my life a living hell? And if I leave him, what do I do next? I've been out of the workforce for years, and I don't even know where to start rebuilding my life. To make matters more complicated, I recently found some old papers in my adoptive parents' house. They hint at the possibility that I may have biological parents who are still alive. It's a long shot, but I wonder if finding them could give me a sense of belonging that I've never felt before. I'm scared. I feel like I'm standing at the edge of a cliff, looking down into the unknown. Part of me wants to leap, to take the risk and build a life where I can finally be free. But another part of me is terrified. What if I fail? What if I leave Ryan, only to find myself alone and struggling even more? I'm reaching out to this community because I don't know what else to do. Have any of you been through something like this? How did you find the strength to start over? Am I crazy for thinking I deserve better? Thank you for reading my story. Any advice or words of encouragement would mean the world to me right now. Sarah's heartfelt plea struck a chord with the online community, and the responses came pouring in. People from all walks of life shared their perspectives, experiences, and advice to help guide Sarah through this tumultuous time. Here are some of the most impactful responses. At Strong Enough 82 says, "Sarah, first off, let me say how incredibly brave you are for sharing your story. I know it feels impossible right now, but you need to leave Ryan immediately. This man doesn't respect you, and staying with him will only hurt you more in the long run. You deserve a partner who values and cherishes you, not someone who belittles you or cheats. As for your adoptive parents, they're not acting like family. Family is about love and support, not manipulation and control. Cut them out if you need to. You don't owe them anything. Trust me, once you get away from the toxic environment, you'll start to see just how strong and capable you really are." New Beginnings 101 says, "I'm so sorry you're going through this, Sarah. I've been in a similar situation, and I know how hard it is to make that leap into the unknown. My advice is to find a good lawyer as soon as possible. Ryan might have money and power, but that doesn't mean he gets to control your life. A good lawyer will help you protect your rights and secure what you need to start over. Also, please start building a financial safety net, no matter how small. Look into remote or freelance work. There are plenty of opportunities to get back on your feet. Remember, the first step is always the hardest, but you'll feel so much stronger once you take it. At Found My Family says, Sarah, your story broke my heart because it reminds me of my own. I, too, grew up in an adoptive family that didn't treat me like I mattered. It took me years to realize that family isn't about biology or who raised you. It's about who truly loves and supports you. If you feel like your biological parents might still be out there, it could be worth looking into. Even if they're not the answer, you might find closure or clarity. And remember, you're not alone in this. There are support groups and communities of people who've been through similar experiences. Lean on them, and don't be afraid to ask for help. As the comments rolled in, a pattern began to emerge. Many people encouraged Sarah to prioritize her independence, both financial and emotional. They urged her to cut ties with those who had betrayed her trust and to focus on rebuilding a life where she could finally thrive. Some users shared their personal stories, offering proof that it's possible to break free and start anew. Others provided practical advice, suggestions for finding affordable legal help, ways to rebuild her career, and steps she could take to ensure her safety while leaving Ryan. The community's overwhelming message was one of empowerment and hope. Despite the darkness Sarah was facing, she was reminded that she had the strength to move forward. As Strong Enough 82 aptly put it, the hardest battles often lead to the brightest victories. You've got this, Sarah. After taking some time to process the community's feedback, Sarah shared an emotional update on her situation. Her voice carried both resolve and uncertainty as she spoke about the changes she'd made and the challenges she was still facing. First of all, I want to say thank you to everyone who reached out with advice and support. Your words gave me the courage to take my first steps toward reclaiming my life. I've officially hired a lawyer, and I'm in the process of filing for divorce from Ryan. It wasn't an easy decision. Every step feels like I'm climbing a mountain, but I know it's the right thing to do. My lawyer is confident that I can secure a fair settlement, which will give me the resources I need to start over. On top of that, I've been updating my resume and applying for jobs. It's intimidating, putting myself out there after years of being in Ryan's shadow, but I've already had a few interviews. I'm cautiously optimistic about the possibility of regaining my independence. That said, it hasn't been smooth sailing. My adoptive parents are furious about my decision to leave Ryan. They've been calling me nonstop, accusing me of bringing shame to the family. They even threatened to cut off all ties with me unless I do the right thing and reconcile with Ryan. I'll be honest, those calls leave me feeling drained and conflicted. For years, I've tried to earn their approval, and hearing their harsh words still stings. But deep down, I know their version of family isn't built on love or support, and I need to let go of the guilt they've instilled in me. Sarah paused for a moment before sharing a surprising twist. Her voice softened, almost as if she was still grappling with the weight of her discovery. While sorting through some old documents in preparation for the divorce, I came across something that completely blindsided me. It was a birth certificate, my birth certificate, and it didn't match the story my adoptive parents told me. With the help of my lawyer, I learned that I'm the biological daughter of a wealthy family. Apparently, I was separated from them as a baby due to circumstances I don't fully understand yet. At first, I didn't know what to feel. Shock? Anger? Hope? It's all mixed together. I have so many questions. Did they look for me? Do they even know I exist? And if I reach out, how will they react? I'm terrified that I'll open the door to more rejection, but there's also a part of me that desperately wants to know who I really am and where I came from. The thought of finding my biological family is overwhelming, especially on top of everything else I'm dealing with right now. I've spent so much of my life being manipulated and used by people who were supposed to care about me. What if my real family turns out to be no different? But what if they're not? What if they're everything I've been searching for? Sarah ended her update with a plea to the community. I need your help again. Should I take the risk and try to reconnect with my biological family, or should I focus on the life I'm rebuilding now and leave the past behind? I feel like I'm standing at a crossroads, and I don't know which path to take. Please, tell me what you think. Your words meant so much to me before, and I'm hoping they can guide me again. Her vulnerability struck a chord with the community once more, leaving everyone eager to help Sarah navigate the next chapter of her journey. As Sarah's story continued to unfold, the community rallied behind her, offering a mix of encouragement, caution, and heartfelt advice. Her emotional update resonated deeply, and many felt compelled to help guide her through her next big decision. As the narrator of Sarah's journey, I want to acknowledge the sheer bravery it takes to make these life-altering choices. Sarah's determination to break free from toxic relationships and reclaim her independence is inspiring. However, the revelation about her biological family has added a new layer of complexity to her story. The potential for reunion is exciting, but it also comes with risks. Sarah's next step must be taken with care, balancing hope with practicality. Here's what some of our community members had to say. At Hopeful Soul 23 says, Sarah, I believe you should absolutely try to find your biological parents. This could be the chance to finally connect with people who genuinely love and care about you. They might not have had a choice in being separated from you, and they could be searching for you just as much as you're searching for answers. Beyond emotional support, they might even be able to help you rebuild your life during this challenging time. It's worth the risk because you deserve to know where you come from. Just take things one step at a time and don't rush yourself. At Real Talk 87 says, while I understand the urge to reach out, I think you need to approach this carefully, Sarah. As much as this could lead to a beautiful reunion, it's also possible that the reality might not meet your expectations. I've seen people go through similar situations, and sometimes it's not the fairy tale they hoped for. My advice would be to do some research first. Maybe talk to your lawyer or hire a private investigator to learn more about your biological family before making contact. That way, you can manage your expectations and protect yourself emotionally. The mix of opinions highlighted the emotional and practical dimensions of Sarah's predicament. Some urged her to leap into the unknown and embrace the possibility of love and belonging, while others encouraged a cautious, measured approach to avoid further heartache. Amidst all the advice, one sentiment stood out: the unwavering belief in Sarah's strength. As Strong Enough 82 from earlier commented, Sarah, you've already shown that you're capable of making tough decisions and standing up for yourself. Whatever path you choose, trust in your own resilience. You've got this. The community's words echoed a central truth. Sarah's journey is her own, and only she can decide the best way forward. But no matter what, she isn't walking this path alone. Sarah's voice trembled as she began her final update, but this time it wasn't with fear or hesitation, it was with hope and newfound strength. I made the decision to contact my biological parents. To be honest, I was terrified. The fear of rejection lingered, and a part of me wondered if I was opening myself up to more disappointment. But I realized I had to know the truth. I couldn't live my life wondering what might have been. So I took a deep breath and made the call. What happened next was beyond anything I could have imagined. The moment I introduced myself, the person on the other end of the line, my mother, broke down in tears. She couldn't believe it was me. I learned that they had been searching for me for years. My parents explained how I had been lost to them due to a terrible mistake at the hospital when I was a baby, and they had never stopped hoping to find me. When we finally met, the emotions were overwhelming. My biological mother embraced me like she had been holding on to this moment for decades. My father, a reserved but kind man, couldn't stop smiling through his tears. It felt surreal, but for the first time in my life, I felt like I belonged. They apologized for the pain I had endured and promised to support me in every way they could. With their help, I started over. I filed for divorce from Ryan, and it was finalized without much of a fight. Ryan tried to win me back, showing up at my door with apologies and promises to change. But I had made my decision. I wasn't going back to the life that had drained me of my self-worth. Ryan's lies and manipulations had finally caught up to him. He lost his career, his reputation, and the image of power he had built for himself. Watching him face the consequences of his actions felt like the closure I needed. As for my adoptive family, they didn't make things easy. When they heard about my biological family's wealth, they came out of the woodwork, demanding money. They tried every trick in the book: guilt, manipulation, even public shaming, but I stood my ground. I told them, no. For the first time, I wasn't afraid to enforce my boundaries. I wasn't that scared little girl anymore, desperate for their approval. I walked away from their toxicity and never looked back. Life isn't perfect, but it's better. I've started working for my biological family's company, where I've been given the chance to grow both professionally and personally. It feels strange to be surrounded by people who genuinely want to see me succeed, but I'm slowly learning to trust in their love and support. Every day, I feel more like the person I was always meant to be. I still think about the journey that brought me here. It wasn't easy. There were nights I cried myself to sleep, moments when I wanted to give up. But looking back, I realize how much stronger I've become. The pain, the betrayal, and the loss shaped me, but they didn't define me. To anyone out there who feels stuck, who feels like life has handed them more than they can handle, I want to tell you this: you are capable of more than you know. It's okay to walk away from people who hurt you, to say no to relationships that drain you, and to fight for the life you deserve. I'm sharing my story not because it's extraordinary, but because it's real. I'm proof that it's never too late to start over. Whether it's finding your family, your career, or your peace, it's worth the fight. Thank you to everyone who supported me along the way. Your words gave me the courage to keep going when I thought I couldn't. I hope my story inspires someone out there to take their own first step toward freedom and happiness. Sarah's update left the community with a sense of closure and inspiration. Her journey wasn't just about overcoming hardships, it was about rediscovering her worth and learning to embrace the possibilities of a brighter future. The strength she found within herself became a beacon of hope for others facing their own battles. Her final words lingered like a quiet but powerful reminder: you deserve to be happy. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Sarah's journey has come to an inspiring end, and her story leaves us with profound lessons about resilience, self-worth, and the courage to start over. Through all her pain and struggles, abandonment by her adoptive family, betrayal by her husband, and the fear of facing an uncertain future, Sarah found the strength to reclaim her life. She stood up for herself, made difficult choices, and ultimately found the love and support she deserved. What Sarah's story teaches us is that it's okay to let go of toxic relationships, even when those relationships are with people we once loved or considered family. The ties of blood or history do not define true family. It's the people who genuinely care for us, support us, and help us grow who earn that title. Sarah's adoptive family tried to manipulate and control her, but she found the courage to say no, setting boundaries that allowed her to protect her peace and rebuild her life. Another important takeaway from Sarah's journey is that betrayal, though painful, does not define us. Ryan's infidelity and manipulation were devastating for Sarah, but instead of letting his actions break her, she used them as fuel to move forward. She recognized her own worth and refused to settle for less than she deserved. By walking away, she reclaimed her power and opened the door to new opportunities, including reconnecting with her biological parents and discovering a life she never thought possible. Sarah also showed us the importance of seeking help and taking action. She reached out to the community when she felt lost, and the support she received gave her the courage to take those first steps toward a better future. It's a reminder that even when we feel alone, there are people out there who care and want to help. Whether it's friends, a support group, or even an online community, reaching out can make all the difference. To anyone watching this who might be facing a similar struggle, remember this: you are stronger than you think. It's never too late to start over, to set boundaries, and to fight for the life you deserve. Sarah's story is proof that even in our darkest moments, we have the power to rewrite our narrative. If you're feeling inspired or moved by Sarah's story, let us know in the comments below. Have you ever faced a situation where you had to make a tough decision to protect your happiness? Share your experiences. We'd love to hear your thoughts and create a space for others to feel supported. And don't forget, if you enjoyed this story or want to hear more like it, hit that like button and subscribe to AGS Stories. By subscribing, you'll never miss an update, and you'll join a community dedicated to sharing meaningful stories that inspire growth and connection. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care and remember, you deserve to be happy. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.